Have you ever noticed that as we get older, it feels like our bodies just don't respond to medications the way they used to? Maybe a pill you've been taking for years no longer seems to work quite as well, or perhaps you're experiencing side effects that weren't an issue before. This is a reality many of us face after turning 70. Our bodies change, our metabolism slows down, and medications that were once harmless can start to cause more harm than good. It's a topic that doesn't get discussed enough, how certain medications, while helpful at one stage of life, can actually have negative effects as we age. And it's not just about feeling tired or uncomfortable, it's about your long-term health. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the most common medications that could be doing more harm than good for people over 70. Before we get started, I want you to know that you're not alone in this. It's common for older adults to take a combination of medications, and it's just as common to experience unexpected side effects or even new health challenges because of them. But the good news is that, with the right knowledge and the support of your healthcare provider, you can make changes that help you feel better and stay healthier. In this video, we'll be discussing 6 medications that can cause more harm than good after 70. We'll explore why they're problematic, how they affect your body, and what you can do about it. So, let's dive in with the first one. The first medication we're going to talk about is anticholinergics. Now, I know that might sound like a fancy term, but bear with me. Anticholinergics are a class of drugs that are often prescribed to treat a variety of conditions, such as allergies, asthma, depression, and even bladder problems. They work by blocking the action of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which plays a role in many bodily functions, including memory, mood, and muscle movement. While these medications can be helpful in managing certain conditions, they come with a range of side effects, especially for older adults. In fact, studies have shown that anticholinergics can significantly increase the risk of cognitive decline and dementia in people over 70. That's because acetylcholine is crucial for memory and cognitive function, and blocking it can impair brain function over time. If you've been prescribed an anticholinergic for a condition like overactive bladder or chronic allergies, you might notice that you feel a bit more forgetful than usual, or perhaps you have trouble concentrating. These side effects might seem minor at first, but over time, they can add up and become a bigger issue. What can you do if you're taking one of these medications? Well, the first step is to have a conversation with your doctor. In many cases, there are alternative treatments available that don't carry the same risks. For example, if you're using an anticholinergic to treat bladder issues, your doctor might suggest trying a different type of medication that targets the bladder without affecting your brain. Another medication that could be causing more harm than good in seniors is benzodiazepines. You've probably heard of these medications. They include familiar names like Xanax, Ativan, and Valium. These are commonly prescribed for anxiety and sleep problems. While they can be effective in the short term, they can also be incredibly dangerous for people over 70. Benzodiazepines work by calming the central nervous system, which is why they're often used to treat anxiety or help with sleep. But as we age, our bodies become more sensitive to these medications. Even at lower doses, benzodiazepines can increase the risk of falls, fractures, and cognitive impairment. In fact, some studies suggest that long-term use of benzodiazepines can contribute to dementia in older adults. If you're taking a benzodiazepine, you might have noticed that you feel a bit more unsteady on your feet or that your memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. These are common side effects, and they're particularly concerning for seniors. One of the main reasons for this is that benzodiazepines can cause sedation, which increases the likelihood of accidents or falls. The good news is that if you're currently taking a benzodiazepine, there are alternatives available. Your doctor might recommend therapy, lifestyle changes, or even a different class of medication to help manage your anxiety or sleep issues without the risks associated with benzodiazepines. It's important to talk to your healthcare provider about finding a safer treatment option that works for you. Now, let's move on to the third medication, nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs. These include over-the-counter medications like ibuprofen, naproxen, and aspirin, as well as prescription-strength options. NSAIDs are commonly used to treat pain and inflammation, especially in conditions like arthritis or back pain. While NSAIDs can be effective at reducing pain and swelling, they can be hard on the body, especially as we get older. One of the biggest risks of long-term NSAID use in seniors is the damage it can do to the stomach lining, leading to ulcers or gastrointestinal bleeding. Additionally, NSAIDs can increase the risk of kidney problems and even heart attack or stroke. If you've been taking NSAIDs regularly for pain, you might have experienced stomach discomfort or noticed that you bruise more easily. These are signs that the medication could be affecting your digestive system, and in some cases, it might be causing more harm than good. So, what should you do if you're taking NSAIDs for pain management? First, you'll want to talk to your doctor about alternative pain management options. There are other medications, such as acetaminophen, Tylenol, that might be safer for seniors, or your doctor might suggest physical therapy or other non-medication treatments to help manage your pain without the risks associated with NSAIDs. Now that we've covered the first three medications, anticholinergics, benzodiazepines, and NSAIDs, let's pause for a moment. I know this information can be a lot to take in, but it's so important to be aware of the medications that might be causing harm rather than helping. Your health is too important to ignore, and the good news is that there are always options to explore. In the next part, we'll continue with the remaining medications, and I'll share some practical tips on how to stay on top of your health while managing the medications you need. So, stick with me, we'll get through this together. Now that we've covered the first three medications, anticholinergics, benzodiazepines, and NSAIDs, let's move on to the next group of medications that might be causing more harm than good as we get older. These are medications that, while common, have serious side effects that can really affect your quality of life. So let's take a closer look at the next one on our list, antipsychotic medications. You may be wondering, antipsychotic medications? But aren't they for severe conditions like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder? And yes, that's true. However, these medications are often prescribed to older adults for a variety of reasons, including agitation, anxiety, or sleep disturbances. The issue here is that many doctors prescribe these medications off-label to treat behaviors related to dementia or Alzheimer's disease, without fully understanding the risks they pose. Antipsychotics work by altering the way the brain processes chemicals, which can help calm agitation or reduce erratic behaviors. However, for seniors, particularly those with dementia, antipsychotics can have serious side effects. They increase the risk of stroke, heart problems, and early death. Research has shown that people over 70 who take antipsychotic medications have a significantly higher chance of experiencing these life-threatening side effects, especially if they're used long-term. If you've been prescribed an antipsychotic for issues like agitation or anxiety, it's crucial to have a discussion with your doctor. There are safer, more effective treatments for these conditions, particularly for older adults. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or other forms of therapy might be a better option, and there are even medications designed specifically for anxiety or sleep that carry fewer risks. It's important to advocate for your health and ensure that the treatments you're receiving are not only effective but also safe for your age. Next up, we have antidepressants. Many of us are familiar with these medications because they're commonly prescribed to treat depression or anxiety. However, antidepressants, particularly selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, and serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, SNRIs, can have unintended consequences for seniors. While these medications can be helpful for treating mood disorders, they also come with some serious risks. One of the biggest concerns is the increased chance of falls. SSRIs and SNRIs can affect balance and coordination, which puts you at a higher risk of falling, especially if you're already dealing with conditions like arthritis or muscle weakness. Additionally, these medications can cause hyponatremia, which is a dangerous drop in sodium levels in the blood. This can lead to confusion, weakness, and even seizures. If you're currently taking an antidepressant and have noticed that you're feeling more dizzy, weak, or unsteady on your feet, this could be a sign that the medication is affecting your balance. And if you're prone to falls or have fallen before, it's definitely something you want to address with your doctor. There are alternative treatments available that may work just as well without the side effects. Your doctor may suggest therapy, exercise, or even adjusting the dosage or switching medications to find something that works better for you. The good news is that if you're experiencing these side effects, you don't have to tough it out. There are options available, and your doctor is the best person to help you navigate this. Together, you can find a solution that will not only help with your mental health but also keep you safe from unnecessary risks. Now, let's talk about muscle relaxants. If you've been prescribed a muscle relaxant for chronic pain, back problems, or muscle spasms, you might be wondering if these medications are safe in the long run. Unfortunately, the answer is often no. Muscle relaxants, while effective in the short term, can be quite harmful for older adults. The issue with muscle relaxants is that they work by affecting the central nervous system, which can cause significant drowsiness and sedation. For older adults, this is a dangerous combination, especially if you already have issues with balance or mobility. Muscle relaxants can also increase the risk of falls and fractures, and they can make cognitive decline worse. Even though these medications can be great for short-term relief, they are often not the best choice for long-term management of muscle pain. There are other, more effective treatments for chronic pain, such as physical therapy, stretching exercises, or alternative therapies like acupuncture or massage, which are not as risky for your health. If you're currently taking a muscle relaxant, it's a good idea to talk to your doctor about exploring other options. They might be able to help you find a safer way to manage your pain that doesn't involve medications that could put your health at risk. As we go through these medications, you might be starting to see a pattern. Many of the drugs that are commonly prescribed to seniors have side effects that can impact our balance, memory, cognition, and overall safety. This is why it's so important to carefully consider the medications we take, especially as we age. You deserve to feel your best, and that means making sure the medications you're using are actually helping, not hurting. Now that we've covered muscle relaxants, let's take a look at the final medication on our list: proton pump inhibitors, PPIs. These are often prescribed for conditions like acid reflux or heartburn, but like many other medications, they come with some serious risks when used over the long term. PPIs work by reducing the amount of stomach acid your body produces, which can help with conditions like acid reflux. But over time, PPIs can cause issues such as bone fractures, kidney disease, and even gut infections. This is because stomach acid is important for absorbing certain nutrients, and blocking it for extended periods can interfere with your body's ability to absorb vitamins and minerals, especially calcium. If you've been using a PPI for several years to manage heartburn or acid reflux, it might be worth talking to your doctor about the potential risks. Your doctor might suggest a different medication or alternative treatments, such as lifestyle changes, that can help manage your symptoms without putting your health at risk. We've covered a lot today: antipsychotics, antidepressants, muscle relaxants, and PPIs. I know it can be overwhelming, but the key takeaway is that you don't have to settle for medications that might be doing more harm than good. With the right knowledge and guidance from your healthcare provider, you can find safer, more effective options that work for you. In the next part, we'll wrap things up by covering a few more important medications that seniors should be cautious about, and we'll talk about how you can take control of your health and start making changes today. As we wrap up our discussion on medications that can cause more harm than good after 70, I want to take a moment to remind you of something important. You deserve to feel your best. Taking the right steps to stay healthy, including being mindful of the medications you take, is one of the most important ways to ensure that you enjoy your golden years to the fullest. With that in mind, let's move on to the final medications that we need to consider. We've already covered a variety of medications that can impact your cognitive function, balance, and overall health. Now, we'll talk about diuretics, commonly known as water pills. Diuretics are often prescribed to help manage conditions like high blood pressure and heart failure. They work by helping your body get rid of excess sodium and fluid, which can help reduce swelling and lower blood pressure. While diuretics can be helpful in managing these conditions, they can also lead to some serious side effects, especially for older adults. One of the most concerning issues is that diuretics can cause you to become dehydrated, leading to dizziness, weakness, and confusion. Additionally, they can affect your electrolyte balance, which can result in low potassium or sodium levels. This can cause problems such as muscle cramps, fatigue, and even heart arrhythmias in some cases. If you're taking a diuretic, it's essential to monitor your fluid intake and make sure you're staying hydrated. Your doctor might recommend potassium supplements or other medications to help maintain a healthy balance. And again, if you're experiencing side effects like dizziness or confusion, it's important to talk to your healthcare provider about adjusting your treatment plan. Now, let's talk about sleep aids, specifically over-the-counter and prescription sleep medications. We all know how important a good night's sleep is, but when it comes to using sleep aids, things can get tricky as we age. Medications like zolpidem, Ambien, esopaglone, Lunesta, and even some over-the-counter options like melatonin are often used to help seniors get better sleep. The problem with sleep aids, especially when used long-term, is that they can lead to dependence. Over time, you might find that you need a higher dose to achieve the same effect, which increases the risk of side effects. These medications can also cause drowsiness the next day, which makes it harder to be alert and active. For seniors, this can be especially dangerous, as it increases the likelihood of falls and accidents. If you're using a sleep aid, it's a good idea to explore other, non-medication options to help improve your sleep. Techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, relaxation exercises, and sleep hygiene practices can be incredibly effective in improving sleep quality without the risks associated with sleep medications. Finally, let's talk about hormone replacement therapy, HRT. For women, HRT has been used for years to manage symptoms of menopause, such as hot flashes and mood swings. And for men, testosterone therapy is sometimes prescribed to address symptoms of low testosterone. While these treatments can offer relief for some individuals, they also come with risks, especially for seniors. For women, long-term use of estrogen in HRT has been linked to an increased risk of breast cancer, stroke, and blood clots. For men, testosterone therapy can contribute to an increased risk of heart disease and prostate problems. If you're currently using HRT, it's worth discussing with your doctor whether the benefits outweigh the risks, and if there are safer, alternative treatments that can help manage your symptoms. As we approach the end of our discussion, I want to remind you of the importance of having open, honest conversations with your healthcare provider about the medications you're taking. Aging is a time when our bodies become more sensitive to the drugs we take, and it's essential to regularly review your medication regimen to ensure that it's still the best option for your health. When you see your doctor, don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're concerned about a medication, bring it up and see if there are safer alternatives. Your healthcare provider should be your partner in helping you stay healthy, and together, you can create a treatment plan that works for you. Remember, small changes can make a big difference in your health and happiness. By being proactive about your medications and making the necessary adjustments, you're taking control of your health and ensuring that you're living your best life, now and in the years to come. If you've learned something new today, I encourage you to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and help each other live healthier, happier lives. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tips and advice on living well at any age. Here's to your health, and here's to living your best life, no matter your age.